All right, kids, some more conjecture on how the biblical paradigm cannot be true if the Egyptology is anywhere near true. Here's some thoughts. We've got no evidence of the Egyptology having anything to do with the biblical paradigm. Not even a little. Not even they would at least keep some record of their slaves having some this or that. We don't have it. In fact, the Greeks widely held that the Egyptians were serving the same deities as them, divided up differently, because they had the decans, the decans, which is the same thing as the zodiac, right? And deities and personifications broken up for all of them, and most of the planetary aspects, right? Bottom line, that's the actual stuff. The Greek stuff, the pantheon, the Egyptology, that's the actual gods, because it's the solar system, right? And the stars. We come from star families, right? Just like it says in Egyptology. And we're all family. Bottom line, we're all family. All humans are family. And this is why the Egyptians would have never let them go. Because they weren't slaves like you thought they were slaves. They were family that they knew ended up in a lower existence, right? Because of making mistakes in the life, not ascending, not becoming spiritual in the way that the world is supposed to become spiritual through the actual powers, the ascending of the mind into understanding that we serve the sun, we serve the moon, and we have access to the other aspects and stars. That is our psychology, our physical, psychosocial, material experience. That is it. Ascending to that is the point. And then living a life that's in line with the ideal, because the powers want us actually. There is parameters, right? That being said, you mess those parameters up, you move down the rings, right? But you can move back up. They would have never let them go because they're family. They're not another nation. They're not another nation. They're a family that have gotten caught in a cycle of gross reality experience, and until they come out of that through spiritual, mental, social, psycho input means, they end up in those positions. But they're still the same people. But if you end up right, you coming out the vaginas of the people in the upper class, right? Supposedly, according to their thing, right? And that of your solar divinity, you'll come back with your stars right, or whatever it is, you'll have that journey to the whatever and get recollected and brought back, and then try again, right? It's the game of life. What do you try again, many lives, right? Infinite lives, right? Because the soul's infinite. The bodies are replaceable, guys. That's why Saturn gets upset about what we do. We have a personification and a deity for that power. That power existed, right? There's lots of indications of existence of it. Not a lot of indications that Christianity or its substructures are anything but in power right now. It's a witchcraft that's in power, if we believe that. Some sort of sorceronic witchcraft afoot, right? Which is due to be broken. We come out from under that vibe, we still have access to the reality in better capacity. In fact, I would say better access to the reality, right? So under better constitutions, right? So, moving forward with that thought, we have lost our train of thought to the duat, right? So, the biblical paradigm is not exactly the truth. We can see that there's only indications of apocalyptic Judaism here and there. It shows up. It's associated with Hebrew. Hebrew had so much. What people don't want to talk about is the Hebrew was the language of the world. So look at the world through Hebrew. Okay, that could be any goddamn thing. They're doing all sorts of stuff all places. So if one language is true, then the spectrum of culture still exists, right? It's the same reality, guys. It's coexisting, co-parallel realities that, based on your mind frame, can terraform instantly, right? Do the light, right? Do the mind. Do the reflection of that to your interior, right? And absorbing it and understanding that it's really all narrative. You have to look at it from your own objective perspective, right? And that biblical paradigm has not saved people. It's led people be in tyrannistic power, authoritative structures that they don't even make sense, guys. They don't even keep the laws that they're on the thing anyways. So that's why we should drop them. Go back to Jupiter, and then they can kind of do their campaigning and then not have to be like, oh, we're on the hook for this or that. No. The gods have authority. They give you preeminent authority to do stuff, and go campaign, right? Go create a kingdom We're supposed to have long-term prosperity with long-term leaders, right? We're not doing that, right? Bottom line, biblical paradigm cannot be that. The Egyptians would have never let them go because they're not a different people. They weren't enslaved at other people, right? That's a narrative, right? I don't believe that. There's no indication for it, right? All right, just some thoughts. Later, beloved. The Egyptian, my point is, the Egyptian shit is way older than the historic narrative and has nothing to do with the Jews. Later.